Before I get started, I want to give a real quick shout out to Marshall Garrett and say thank you for all of the beautiful comments. Thank you for everything that you said. And the reason why I'm thanking you so much is because one comment you made is that everything that I'm talking about, I'm beating a dead cat. That lets me know that you're saying that it's dead, it's over with, there is no God, it does not exist. Thank you. Then you sat down and you stated, all right, that everything that I'm repeating over and over and over and over again. So I've never repeated not one thing over again. I always talk about different things because I try to cover all of the bases to put it all in one analogy, so that way everybody knows the one true God and the truth of what's going on, so that you're not a part of that truth, so you have no understanding, and then you're not even seeking the truth. So since you're not a part of the truth and not seeking the truth, we already know where that leads, that you don't get it. So you're confused. Not only are you confused, you're already of a seed that was doing whatever they're doing. So if you go and look at all of my teachings and everything that I've said, Mr. Garrett Marshall, you'll see that every characteristic that you displayed in your comments alone is the DNA and the haplogroup of those people that I talk about. So thank you very much for helping me by leaving those comments, because it's just like if somebody reads it, they're going to say, wow, he was just talking about people like this, and this guy left a comment like that. So thank you very much. Now I want to go into 1 John, which is after Peter, 2 Peter, all right, in the New Testament, chapter 3 of 1 John, verse 1, where it states, see what kind of love that the Father has given to us, that we should be called the children of God, so we are. And the reason why the world does not know us is that we did not know him when he was in the world. So for that transgression and that sin of us not accepting him, the world forgot who we were, then God hit us with another double portion of we will forget who we are also. So we're sitting in the blank thing. A lot of us are waking up to the truth. A lot of people are being converted over to the truth and accepting that truth and being a part of that truth. So with that being said, some of us need to take the time to go read like the Mesopotamian scrolls where it talks about the 4 kings. These same 4 kings are in Revelations and are talked about at the end times of when everything is going to happen, what we see going on in the world right now. So in the Mesopotamian scrolls of the 4 kings, we see God, the one true God, rears his head and goes to somebody in the wilderness and gives him all the powers and anything that he needs to do the one true God's deeds, and plus anything that he wants to do. And he tells him, after you do what you need to do for me, you know, you will surely die. So he meets the king of Mesopotamia, Syria at the time, and they become friends. While them becoming friends, they killed the person that ran the cedar forest and controlled it for economical means. They went and destroyed all this. Now the Nephilim, the fallen ones, aka 4 kings, asked the Mesopotamia king, why would you do this? It's like you went out there, and then that's when the guy said the one true God, and they was like, oh my gosh, Father interceded and all this other stuff. Now if we do the timeline date for when that was written and match it up with some of the old prophecies and scrolls that were written, you will see that that's when the Hebrew people of Yahweh went in and all this stuff happened within that area on that side of the fence within the Word of God. Now, the Word of God was written by man as stories and testimonies of the truth. All right? A lot of the scrolls in the prophecy books were written by man from God as the truth. So we need to get an iteration for all those that think that somebody just wrote something like it was a fiction story, or these little sorcery boxes that we watch on TV that give us a perception, the illusion of what things actually is, to make another people feel important because they have no analogy. Now we need to also go back and look at what is called the Emerald Tablets. What are the Emerald Tablets? A long time ago, something fell. It wasn't a meteorite or an asteroid. Whatever it was hit the sub-Saharan desert. It hit so hard that it created an alloy that looked like an emerald, a glass alloy that can't be eroded or destroyed. And King Akhenaten, which was like how Moses and Jacob was a prophet to God, he was sort of like prophet to Satan. So Satan told his side of the story and how we were created out of dirt and low stars, and he was an high star, and all this other stuff. And he basically puts down the human race and how he feels, how he had to go to the Neanderthals and all of them because God had wiped out everything in the flood and made people forget. So he had to retrain them and re-educate them on a lot of things. This is where we see in the future technology and then the uprising of the population of people and everything else, which was technically like what, 1,000 years after the death of Yeshua. All right, but nobody's seeing it. All right, so with that being said, our transgressions in who we are and what we have done has made us as a people be forgotten, and us also forgetting who we were as a people. In order to come in and fully be accepted and have that reward, if you're a Gentile or a convert or converted over, you have to know these things. These are the things that you have to accept and you have to know. I post different various of things talking about different subjects because they all fit into one puzzle. All right, that's the mystery of life. The mystery of life is that there was always a separation from the beginning. When Eve slept with Satan, all right, there was always a and that was the sign on his head, the straight hair. All right, there was always a separation in the beginning that nobody's getting. And then Yeshua came with the New Testament stating that all those that believe and believe in the right way and follow that belief in those laws become one with God and have a just reward. Now, it also states that if they talk for us, about us, and unto God, then they're not against us, they're with us. But there has to be an action with that in order for you to be accepted. If you're not of these people, and if you're waking up to be these people, then guess what? You need to start finding out the traditions, the full belief, and following it as much as you can. You need to give God that one day of rest and just straight up study. All right, you need to sit down and get rid of those holidays that you have and everything else. Now I'm speaking these words to you because they're of the truth and are the truth and of this truth that I'm reading.